What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the only thing letting you know that it's Friday. Zach, how are we doing today?
I don't want to be introduced that way anymore. It is actually Zach on
The
the
greatest.
no. Zach on the island attack. Pat, watch your back. Your
Whoa.
island is whack, and my water park is going to crack a hole in your design dominance. No longer is Pat the only guy capable of build streams. I'm sorry to say. I've been doing work. Have you seen my island?
Seen my freaking hundreds of hours of jungle goodness? What are you talking about, Zach? You made one lazy river, and now you're the king.
I mean, fast learners. You could say I learned from the best. My first ever design was my campsite, which was from you. I also think you gave me the water park idea, which we don't have to like cut that part, but
Yeah, so like coming at me strong. Okay. All right. All right. Anyway, Zach, how we doing today? We're all vaxxed up. We're 2 weeks from the last show. Doing some designing. You're like a new man right now.
I am. I'm feeling good. It was snowing on Tuesday, which was a wild thrill, and now it's back to 60, so that feels right. Yeah, I saw you got your vaccine. Good job. I have my second shot on Tuesday, so I'm
Okay.
almost all superheroed up here.
There we go. Zach, there's a lot of people have pitchforks. They're screaming at the top of their lungs. There's
It's Halloween
buildings
already.
burning.
It's October. Pitchforks are
Yeah,
screaming. Oh gosh.
people are going crazy. It's about that time when a new update is coming. However, we're not going to get there yet. We have a couple news articles to go. Well, news data mines to go over while the people shuffle in here. I actually want to start off with. Should we? Let's do. Oh, I don't know. Let's do something the oldest stuff first. But I think this is juicy. I want you to talk about the Amiibo situation.
All right. So as you know, I love my data mines. I love my digging and my details and my predictions. And this thing popped up on Reddit that at first I didn't pay any attention to because I was like, okay, Amiibo, like I love the Amiibo, they're fine, but whatever. It wasn't until someone referenced on a different site that, hey, like maybe there's new Animal Crossing. I was like, okay, let me check this out. And so I looked, and basically to break this down, Nintendo, they label all their Amiibo with a 16 digit alphanumeric code. And that lets you know if it's Isabelle or if it's, Cat Mario or if it's regular Mario or, whoever. And when they released Monster Hunter Rise, they had 3 new Amiibo. But there is a 100 number gap between the last Amiibo and between the Monster Hunter Rise Amiibo. And that number is the perfect number for an Amiibo card set because all the series have been 100 cards, save for the Welcome Amiibo set, which was a 50 card horizontal RV set. But the other 4 main sets that we all know and we've all purchased and you've unboxed on your channel, those are 100 card sets, which makes you wonder, is Nintendo planning 100 new figure Amiibo for E3 this year? I don't know. They've got a lot of games to announce, but it really seems like that 100 space gap is for a new set of Amiibo cards, which I think it makes perfect sense. And I bet they're pushing series 1 through 4 back into the chains, to see if they would sell was a big test. And then the Sanrio explosion, probably something else. And I think it feels like they are gearing up to launch a brand new set that really can get you to go out and buy, 5, 10, 15 packs of these things.
So there's a 100 number gap by the way that the Amiibos are listed on the website, or
it's not the website. It's in the codes of the Amiibo. Like if you like when people make their own Amiibo and they're taking like the QR or not QR, the R whatever NFC code or whatever it is. When they scan the last release code and the Monster Hunter Rise, to be very granular, it's a 103 Amiibo gap, but 3 of those are for Monster Hunter Stories 2, which launches in July. And then there's 100 remaining, which, would be for something. Nintendo didn't just skip them because, the intern got lazy. Like, there's a reason for it.
So we're thinking cards that never got Amiibos, like the brand new villagers. We're thinking Raymond. We're thinking Audie. Right. Sherb. Sherb is the holy grail of Amiibo cards. And then we're thinking probably the new NPCs. Now, that's a lot of numbers, right, Mr. Zachariah. So I watched your video. You made like a very in-depth. Go check it out if you want more. But like there was a whole set of RVs that never got Amiibo. So the thinking is that those would be in to make the 100? Or
right. Yeah, there's 50 Welcome Amiibo RV sideways cards, very similar to the Sanrio set, that they are not part of the main vertical series 1 through 4 that we know and love. So you would think that those would come in. Some people were also saying maybe they bring back some villagers that were in past games but aren't in ACNH yet. Like not that this is, oh my gosh, going to be 50 new villagers, but some of the ones that have kind of gotten left behind along the way. Because you've got the eight brand new villagers. You have, they usually do anywhere from like 14 to 18 NPCs. So that brings you like to 24. But then, what are you going to do with the other 76 slots? Even if the 50 of them are from those RV amiibo cards, you still have some, and maybe they bring in, they could bring in brand new. This could be a way to have Holy Grail new villagers, buried in these packs like rare cards.
So this excites me. I'm totally down for amiibo cards. We're going to be talking about juicy update news later. At the end of the day, though, this is cool because it's like collectible. If you guys like physical merchandise, but like nothing's changing with the game unless they bring back new villagers, then that'll be super exciting. But man, if you guys had trouble, including me, with this, these are going to be. They're not going to put a limit on buying these because these are totally random.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to be much. Well, I still think they could sell out. I mean, Pokemon cards currently are selling out, and those have no limit, and those are totally random. But yeah, I would expect at least the stock to be significantly higher. Because they know people are going to want to buy many, many, many packs.
Yeah. So I think these are going to be a nightmare, honestly, to buy. But like,
it's so exciting.
Oh, this is great. I'm realistic.
You don't want to camp out at Target at 6 a.m. with me?
Well, the good thing about this is that it won't just be Target.
Right.
There's no way they're going to do exclusive. It's going to be Walmart, Best Buy, things like that. Well, I don't even know Walmart. Walmart usually doesn't have them. But yeah, this is exciting. This could be now. Where would this be a Twitter drop? Right? They wouldn't put this in like a trailer or anything.
I mean, the Sanrio card's got a trailer. To me, this would be the perfect thing to include in the 2.0. Like, hey, not only did we bring in Brewster, not only did we, upgrade the game in this way, but we also have a new set of amiibo cards to celebrate, this monumental. Yeah. But if it's 1.10, then maybe a Twitter drop.
Yeah. I'm thinking a Twitter drop. Man, if they bring back now you got me thinking, man, like my boy Inkwell. Well, that's tied to a Nintendo property, but I mean, those never got amiibo cards.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. Super exciting stuff. And then we have some news out of Instax, which is kind of Animal Crossing related. Not totally. So Instax it's basically for the Pokemon Snap launch. So it's the Instax printer, which is already available. It's $100. $100. So basically they're going to, I guess we are getting an update then, right? With a Switch update or something like that.
It's not going to be an update for this can't. I mean, to clarify, so basically it's this printer that you can connect with your phone, and there's going to be an app that connects your Switch to your phone, and then your phone to this. So, like, I guess it's technically not updating, in the same way that your Switch can send the photos to, it's just going to be that kind of method. But it is a cute update, for those of you that want to Pinterest out your bedroom or your Trapper Keeper. You could then have these very cute. There's like 24 borders for your own photos.
Wait. Trapper Keeper?
Pets. I guarantee some of you in the audience have Trapper Keepers. It's school's almost out, but
you know what there's a generation, Zach, the younger generation, that is being raised on iPads and laptops.
That is a good point. Okay, you could put them on your iPad cover, on your little laptop.
Yeah, on your smart device.
Yeah, but
this is cool. This is cute. So basically, you're gonna be able to take screenshots from your Switch and print them out in Polaroid form. I could see this taking off. I mean, it's definitely you'll be able to get this. The technology already exists.
It's too expensive. I mean, for it to be any mass appeal. Yeah. I mean, $100 a lot. Like, being able to print out, I mean, again, you can use it for other things. So if you already have a Fujifilm like Polaroid camera, or you just like, clipping your photos to your little fairy lights and above your headboard, then you can now have all these AC themed things. And to me, the bigger deal though is that you can print direct screenshots from your Switch. So if you're really proud of your island, instead of having to send it to Instagram, now you can have a physical photo of it. And as you mentioned, it's more cool, I guess, for Pokemon Snap, because back in the day, we would go to Blockbuster to print out our Pokemon Snap snaps, and Blockbuster
There was also the Game Boy. What was it? The Game Boy printer.
Yeah, that was.
Oh my god, dude. that was awful. I never did the whole Blockbuster experience. I'm on the fence. Listen, Zach. Animal Crossing has taken so much of my money. I don't know if this is enough. They're coming out with Animal Crossing frames, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. They're coming out with Pokemon frames and I think like generic Nintendo frames. So there is some thought put in there. But I thought it was worth mentioning. That's the 30th, right?
Yeah, it's a fun thing. Come in my channel next Friday.
Yes, Zach will be. You're getting one, unboxing and everything.
Yeah, printing them out. I'm gonna decorate my room, Pat. Come on.
Okay.
Make it living the dream with my new island that is as spectacular as can be. You know.
We have any plans for this water park? We're doing the lazy river now, which doesn't connect, so it's a lazy.
Hey! It finished today. Okay, it now drops off in a big pool. There's also a giant mountain with tons of beautiful waterfalls. Waterscaped better than I think you can imagine. One of the first things you told me when you came to my island was you said, "Zach, I want you to do some waterscape," and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And I was like clumsily fumbling around, like, "Okay, dig here." Dude, this mountain, it's shaped after the first anniversary cake, and it is just oozing frosting.
Ooh. Okay. There's actually codes for like the fruit simple panels that you can put on there if you want to go super fancy with it. I don't know.
Cool.
But guys, we have to talk about it. And right now in the chat, we need 1.10 or 2.0. We need to. And the only reason why I bring this up, Zach, and I'm fully on board with the 2.0. I think I'm team 2.0. But you and I have been making update videos, and I love checking the comments and people saying that I'm freaking clickbaiting. I'm not clickbaiting, man. But it's interesting to see the comments because a lot of people are like, man, I really think it's 1.10. I don't think a giant update would happen randomly.
Right.
I think a giant update would happen E3. A lot of people have eyes on it and it's things like that. So I put a poll out there, okay? Mm-hmm. I put a poll out there and a little bit of backstory. It's speculated that there will be a new update. There's nothing, we're not confirming anything, just based on the scheduling of this team. Like, it's heavily implied that we're going to get an update. Where did I put this? Over on Twitter, of course. I mix it up for you guys. Okay, so I said, all right, AC fans, the next Animal Crossing update number will be 65% are on 2.0 and 35% say 1.10. That's a pretty big divide, I think. So, Mr. Zachariah, I'm on 2.0. Mm-hmm. I believe I know the answer, but let me get some logic behind this.
I would love to know where 1.10 originated from, because I mean, there's some games that use it, but not very many. I mean, we don't have any history of Animal Crossing because updates haven't really been a thing before. I look back at something like Splatoon 2. They went straight from 1.4 to 2.0. You know, no rhyme or reason to that numerical leap. I guess the only disconnect is 2.0 implies it's massive, right? 2.0 implies this is a whole new version. 2.0 implies that they're bringing something really big. And so I think the only dilemma here is, and I think you're one of the people that have created this dilemma, is that 2.0 can't be at before E3. It would have to be at a tentpole event. And I mentioned in my video, I think Animal Crossing is big enough that they don't need nothing. I think if it was paid DLC, then they'd want to include it in something larger scale. But if it's just 2.0 for Animal Crossing, you could put that on Twitter, you could put that on YouTube, and people are going to be there for it. So I think it's absolutely 2.0. And maybe this is me talking myself into just hope and hype. Maybe the reason 1.9 was a blog post is because there's so much going into 2.0, and they're kind of just hard at work on getting that all ready to as Wendy says, deliver Brewster on a silver platter.
So you're basically saying that I'm stirring the pot. I'm creating a lot of controversy. You know what? I'll take that role because I love the conversation around this. I think there's some evidence to go both ways. Like you said, they're getting a lot of stuff out there. Mm-hmm. Last month, we had 3 updates, everyone. So it kind of seems like, oh, let's get this out of the way because we have bigger things to come. However, do you think that they would, or do you not? Okay, let me finish the question. Do you think they would put a giant update out now and then randomly show E3 a smaller update?
I don't think there's any reason that Animal Crossing has to be a part of E3.
That's a hard disagree for me. Listen, it was in the last Nintendo Direct out of nowhere.
Correct.
And that was, well, a little bit with that, it was known that we were going to have a March update. So it makes sense. But Animal Crossing is a powerhouse in terms of sales, and like, does Nintendo have a lot to show? Because does the Zelda
so much, possibly their biggest E3 in like a decade.
But what makes it to the E3 presentation? Do you think the Zelda thing makes it, or do you think the Zelda is another presentation after that?
I mean, TBD on that, but I think Breath of the Wild 2 is absolutely a part of it at the very least. And everything I know, everything I've read is that they are, prepping 5, 6, 7 big first party announcements because they have nothing for August, September, October, November, December. So they have to get all those games announced. And to me, yes, updates are important to Nintendo, and yes, they kind of play by the beat of their own drum, but E3 is to showcase and typically demo brand new product, right? Back in the day, before public was invited, before it was this streamed on Twitch and YouTube thing, E3 was much more of a electronic show for the GameStops and the Walmart executives of the world to go and see what they were going to buy stock of, and for eventually journalists and reviewers to come in and check that out. And then they started inviting influencers, and then they started inviting, public. The more that the show became public, the more it was like, oh, let's go play last year's Call of Duty. But the issue, I can turn you down a bit. The issue now is that I don't think that, to me, based on what I know about E3, I don't think there's going to be space for them to dilly-dally on updates, and Animal Crossing can completely hold its own without it. And I almost think that's, based on Nintendo's history of how they've done things, I think that's almost preferred. Because to me, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, the reason that the last update was tied into the Direct was because of the Mario relevance.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about anyone else. Maybe you guys can say yes or no. I personally would be shocked if Animal Crossing wasn't a part of the E3, because it's like you said, there's a lot going on with Nintendo. The whole Zelda thing has been a mystery. I'm very surprised they haven't shown anything. Mm-hmm. I just see Animal Crossing fitting into this. I'm not saying that the big update has to happen, but man, I'm reading some of the comments in the chat. There was let's just go back to New Leaf, all right?
Yes.
The better game. I don't agree with that, but the better game. So there was a giant welcome Amiibo update. Now, Zach, we talked earlier about the possible Amiibo
cards
rumor. Could we have another giant? I mean, that sounds like a giant enough update to call it a 2.0. And I think the divide here is it 1.10 or 2.0? 2.0 would be a great marketing tool for them to be like, hey, Animal Crossing is bigger, better than ever. This is why you should come back to the game.
Right.
The community is big, but it's not nearly what it used to be. So it's like, man, that could be a good way to be like, hey, there's a lot going on. Here's 2.0.
Right. And I think, if we're going to get super on the business side of things, and look at the Nintendo's, how they're thinking in their business, I think that Pokemon Snap comes out April 30th. That's next week. Mario Golf comes out on June 24th. That's after E3. E3 is around June 11th, 12th. Nintendo hasn't announced their exact date. Our big game for Nintendo Switch in May is Miitopia, which is a 3DS re-release. So effectively, you have from April 30th to June 24th without a brand new big Switch game. You have Famicom Detective Club, which is being ported, and you have Miitopia, which is being ported. So to me, that might be a great time to re-energize the Animal Crossing community. You have this, almost 2-month gap with nothing that Nintendo needs to really champion. Like, they will market Miitopia, but Miitopia is not getting, a ton of fanfare. So it feels like that would be a great spot to launch this 2.0, especially if it ties into an Amiibo card launch, especially if there's some way that they can kind of, rally the troops and in effect maybe because I don't know sales-wise how Animal Crossing is doing. We're due for an investor call, I think, in like a week and a half, which should give us updated numbers. But maybe this is the right time to bolster that AC sales figure again by saying, hey, there's nothing really out to buy. So 2.0, get after it.
It's a pretty weak first half of the year. Like, there's definitely games that are coming out that I'm excited for, like Mario Golf. I think Miitopia, there is a lot of like 3DS fans like still out there that like to see this game. But
right.
overall, like as a gamer and the videos that I'm seeing from other creators and stuff, it's a pretty weak first half. So it's like, man, maybe they do kind of release this Animal Crossing thing, bolster the first half a little bit, and then release this giant thing that everyone thinks they're going to do, like the Mario Kart, the Zelda and things. I think Zelda has a good chance to come out this year, but I just don't know their schedule of like presentations and things like that. I don't know what they're going to include in E3. So
I will put my money on not Animal Crossing, and you will put your money on yes, Animal Crossing.
I mean, I don't necessarily know if that means like a giant update, but I do think it's going to make the presentation somehow. Okay. I just think because there's just been a trend of them having a nice mix of new releases and then, you know, supporting their older games. Have you noticed that or no? No.
I mean,
it's
yeah, absolutely. Except like, I think this is like the very strange, rare Nintendo presentation where like you can release your trepidation. You can just go like guns blazing, all hype, because we literally don't know anything for the second half. And unless Nintendo's going to come out there and like depress all of us, this has to be like their big showcase. And last year was lackluster because, you know, COVID struck. There wasn't really an E3. They didn't really get a presentation together. It took them a millennia to get the Direct that came out a month and a half ago. I feel like this is their time to say, hey, everybody, you can't buy a PS5. Series X has no games. We know Game Pass is doing all right. Returnal seems cool, but like, boom, this is why this year Nintendo Switch is still the system to get. And look, there won't be a Switch Pro at E3. Nintendo never announces their new hardware that far in advance. So I think this is going to be a game-centric show. Because here's the other thing, like, and I know we both talked about this in our videos, is there any chance that Nintendo goes from the end of March to the middle of June without Animal Crossing details? Because, you know, March 19th or whenever that blog post was, to June 3rd, that's a 3-month gap, which we have never had.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you would have asked me that year one, I would have said, no, absolutely not. But year two, we just don't know what's going to happen. I think that's the bottom line, is because year two, I thought they would slow down a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it seems like the things that they are adding, the Mario stuff, the Sanrio stuff, that seems like they're kind of padding this game out to be, you know, to at least offer some of the things that were in the last game. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's like there's not a lot of newness with the updates, if that's like anything that we can look at. We got the, you know, the updates with the custom designs and things. So it's like, I guess that's new, but that's more so improving the game. Mm-hmm. But like, so say if an update drops next week, which is heavily rumored right now,
right?
When does the next one drop? Do they skip? They're going to skip time either way. Like because you're saying it's not going to show at E3. So if they drop it now, they're going to skip until July?
Well, I mean, I don't have a prediction yet on what they do beyond this. I think a lot depends on the update. I'm just saying, I don't think the way Nintendo has shifted their marketing in the Switch era, and in particular the last 2 years, you know, they announced Paper Mario: The Origami King on Twitter. They dropped big trailers on Twitter. I don't think that Animal Crossing is tied to Nintendo's tentpole presentation schedule. I think they can announce that at any time, and they've proven that by what, like 8 or 9 out of not. I guess the Mario update. So 8 out of the 9 updates have not been in directs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that they wouldn't have another one, or they would, and maybe they do take time off, but I just don't think it needs to. Like, the correlation to me isn't as strong as maybe some other people think it is.
Yeah. And I mean, the reason why, like, you can go back to previous episodes, there's a giant gap in the Animal Crossing calendar for summer. There's the fireworks show.
Right.
And that's it, right? Because like last year, diving was introduced, and like the whole dream thing during this time. Is there anything else in summer? I don't think there is. So
yeah, because last year July was the only month that got 2 updates. July was a double update month, which is crazy.
Yeah. And that was a heavy update. I was looking back at some of the updates. Leaf, Red. It's going to be interesting to see like what they prioritize. Are they going to prioritize making the game, you know, easier and better to play, or are they going to add some new stuff? Oh, the wedding stuff, but I don't know. It's also interesting what they're going to do, because like they've shown that they can add to holidays by adding new items, but they've also shown they're willing to get rid of things. Like if anyone remembers last year the Earth Day like Nook Mile stuff, they got rid of that. And Earth Day is just now
that's not there at all. There was no the little Nook Mile bonuses aren't there.
No, well, we got like those special green ones for like planting trees and bushes and stuff.
Those aren't there this year?
No.
Are you sure?
Am I wrong, guys? I don't think it's there. I mean, I've been time traveling like a beast, but I don't think it's there.
Earth Day.
I think that was just to like welcome in Leaf. It was just like a little promo thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so.
Oh, without the Nook Miles goals from 2020. Interesting.
Yeah, so it's not there. So, I mean, they've shown that they're willing to get rid of things.
Okay.
They're willing to add things, so it's very, very hard to predict. That's why, as much as people don't want to hear about the update after a while, like everyone wants to know more and more information and more things. So, summer is a big gap. Are they going to get rid of the wedding event or anniversary event entirely, or are they going to add more to it? That'd be a good way to kind of inject some old NPCs, like. Maybe we have like a Porter photo shoot or like a.
He's
Dr.
getting
Strong.
married this year.
Yeah, exactly. Let's play the couples game. But yeah, all I'm saying is there's a big gap in terms of what's happening in the summer, because I think when you get to the fall and like the heavy holiday season, I think all they're going to do, is add items to the pre-existing holidays. So this seems to be the time. If they're going to add something substantial gameplay wise, it would be now.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think they've done a really good job in year 2. They've had consistent updates each and every month. It's been an eclectic variety of what they've brought. Pave, a very small event, some cool items. Mario, an impressive set. Sanrio, interesting collaboration, and you have to basically pay DLC. The quality of life stuff with the design slots. So it's been a really unique mix, but it's been very consistent. And so that's why it just doesn't feel like they would skip a whole bunch of time. The only like devil's advocate I'll play here is the last one didn't have a coming next, or anything like that. So that's odd, but someone mentioned it in chat. They've conditioned the community to expect updates. So just to take that away out of nowhere would feel very, very odd, and especially right on the precipice of 2.0. Like they're not dumb. They know if you have 1.9, like most people are probably expecting the next one to be substantial. And
yeah,
let's go back to the code in the game. Brewster and the museum shop and the museum cafe, those are things in the code. So at some point that has to arrive.
Yeah. I am going to go out there and say everything up till now, well, everything up till before the anniversary thing with the custom designs was all planned out before launch. I think everything was made, a large part of it was made. Like all the holidays were made, and that was just their way to keep the hype throughout the year. I think from the anniversary thing on is all new, and it's obviously been worked on, but like I don't think anything from now on was planned necessarily. So, a multiplayer thing, the Brewster thing, Museum Day is coming up. So that, I said that in my prediction video that instead of that garbage freaking event that we had, it'd be nice to be like, hey, we have a new resident in the museum, and here's a new collectible with gyroids. It's kind of on par with last year, because last year we had red and we had the painting. So that was a new collectible. Maybe the museum gets updated again, and that would be a nice kind of transition, because people are expecting the museum stuff. So listen, Zach, Brewster is the most annoying thing in the world right now. I can't think of another thing, because like it's just odd, and it's so odd to the point where people are like, what's so special about Brewster? And honestly, I'm sorry, Zach, close your ears. Brewster's not that great. It's just it's a piece of the game's history and franchise that is like missing, and it's weird it hasn't been updated till now. Gyroids is another thing. You play any Animal Crossing game, it's always been there. So it's like we're waiting for these things that should be in the game. And I think there's also divide, like that's why people say they like New Leaf better and other things. So because they're saying that this game doesn't feel complete, and honestly it's not complete.
Right. You
can have fun with it, but it's not totally complete yet. So so we're both on 2.0, right?
Yeah, I don't know. To me, they don't go 1.10 and then 2.0. To me, if they're going to go with 1.10 route, they're not using 2.0. Because that doesn't make any logical sense to me.
Let's see. Shaylee with the 7. Thank you so much. Got to remember, they have said from day one they have up to 3 years of updates planned.
Right.
Okay. So we're done with a year. So that means we have 2 years. And if we think things logically through, I don't know how you think about the whole 3-year thing. I think year 1 and year 2 have the most substantial additions, unless they go out with a bang. Year 3 to me feels like what they did with Splatoon, where it was like bug fixes, balancing, things like that. I mean, it's a different game, but do you agree with that, or do you think year 3 could also be substantial?
Yeah, I mean, it's uncharted territory just because Nintendo has not, outside of Splatoon 2, what game have they really done this with? What game have they had the opportunity to do it with? What game has the player base and the fervor and the sales numbers of Animal Crossing? If people are content with updates that include 5 new items for Bunny Day, then yeah, I think updates continue to the 3rd year. Look, I guess there's a big decision, and you can weigh in, Pat. Have they viewed this as a 3-year calendar where they are purposefully spreading the big additions out throughout a 1,000-day plan? Or is everything front loaded and then it just, slowly trickles off? Because if it was a 3-year plan, well, are they saving certain characters for year 3? That's not typically how a lot of games do things, but is Animal Crossing in a unique position because it's trying to be this daily check-in game for, all demographics? I would love to know, because to me, and you can give me your take, but to me, if it was a 1,000-day plan, I am so excited about Animal Crossing, much more so than I am if it is a trickle plan, because that means that there are substantial things awaiting us that they have carefully, spaced out, and that to me would be ridiculously cool.
Mm-hmm. It's tough to answer that because, like you said, this is a new Nintendo. I think a lot of people maybe are new to Nintendo, which is weird for me because it's always been something I've done, but they're pretty new when it comes to supporting games. They're pretty new with DLC. They're very new with DLC. It started last generation. So they're very old school thinking when it comes to gaming, I think in general. But the one game I want to look at is New Leaf, because New Leaf out of nowhere towards I think it was 4 years in, they came out with the Welcome Amiibo. But that was to kind of sell the Amiibos and give that game a charge. It's hey guys, this is a reason to play. I don't know how they're going to treat this game. Years down the line, are they going to be man, we really want that community back, let's give them a giant update? I just don't know. If I had to guess, I think that it's going to be front loaded, and I don't necessarily think that year 1 was the front load. I think this year could be big additions as well. I think it's front loaded. First year or 2, I think is going to be front loaded. Year 3, I think is going to be a little weak. They might go out on a bang, kind of like New Leaf. But we also have to think, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but the next Animal Crossing, and the only reason why I say that, there was a 7-year gap in between New Leaf and this one. However, we are a 1 console company now. There is no handheld home console market. So it's do they rush out, capitalize on this new fan base, and create another Animal Crossing maybe in a 3 or 4 year span instead of the 7 year? So I don't know. There's a lot of factors, but I think it's going to be a front loaded.
Yeah, the good news is we'll never know. It's fun to speculate, but we'll never have an idea. I mean, did they adjust once COVID hit? Oh gosh, now we need to space this out. Did they adjust once the sales figures hit? Did they always have it planned? I don't know. All I do know is that I think it's silly to think that nothing substantial is coming. I do think there are big additions coming to this game. And I'm still sticking to my April 27th, next Tuesday trailer announcement. It feels right. There are a lot of things in May, and it seems like they need to get those going, because the last year's April update was right before Earth Day, and that outlined April, May, and June. So that took care of a lot of things, and I feel for new players, they need to at least make some note of what's happening in the next 8 weeks.
Who Spilled My Beans says they're making a whole coffee game with Brewster. That's why, Zach.
Oh,
That's
okay. There we go.
Honestly, a match 3 stupid like Brewster game, I would love.
Animal
Like,
Crossing.
I'm not even.
It's Animal Crossing New Horizons 2, and it just includes the other half the characters that aren't in this game.
Oh
You
god.
got to pay $120 to get the full thing.
You know what's funny is like they did. I kind of want to give it to Nintendo right now because the anniversary came and went, and I know we have pandemic things aside, but man, Animal Crossing as a franchise got a tweet. Zach,
For the year?
For their 20-year anniversary, they had a single tweet, and yeah, that's it. And there was that big picture, remember, with all the NPCs and things, and it's extraordinary to look at that picture and be like, man, who are any of these characters? If you're new to this franchise, you're like, wait, what's that dog doing in a cop uniform? You know, so it's kind of strange. It's very strange.
Yeah, it is a very weird design choice to take a brand new game and push it so far in certain directions and hold it back so far in other directions.
So 2.0 hypothetically hits next week, okay? We're saying what, Tuesday or Thursday, or it could be any day, really.
Yeah.
They don't do anything on the weekends.
They don't do anything on the weekends, and Pokemon Snap is Friday, so like to me it's if it's happening, it's got to be a Tuesday thing.
Yeah. And I mean, if they don't show anything in the E3, it could be May. It technically it could be May.
I cannot see them going March to June. That just seems like they should have at least said like we'll see it like because look, here is something else to think about. This is good, Zach. I didn't even put this in my video. Last year, Nintendo, they used their updates to kind of indicate when the next one would drop, right? So with Leaf and Red, they talked about what was happening in April, May, and June, and you kind of knew, hey, nothing really substantial is going to come until towards the end of that wedding season timeframe because we already know about it, right? If Nintendo was not planning an update for months, wouldn't they in the last update have indicated, oh, and come back, for International Museum Day, come back for May Day, we've got this seasonal event starting on May 4th, or, Cinco de Mayo is May 5th, wouldn't they have included that in the 1.9 list of descriptors, like saying that that's coming to the, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that is a good barometer of how far and how long we have to wait, is how extended in the future do their events and their items and their plans go.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. I mean, it's so heavily rumored right now. And by the way, we're just a couple of schmucks. We don't know anything what's going to happen, but we can speculate based on the year plus.
Or do we?
Or do we work for Nintendo? And this is just a big marketing ploy. No. There's a lot of things that are either going to come back boring or come back new and updated or new entirely, like the Rover Maze. Are we going to see that cute little guy again? Are we going to get another briefcase sack? That would
he said he'd be back. He said, I'll see you soon.
That would be really weird and really dumb. There's also the wedding thing, the anniversary thing. Is that going to be, are they going to say, hey, we're back for another photo shoot? So like the game just looks like it needs updates. I mean, I've been saying this all along, but it just looks like it needs updates.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of go back to the update trailer where the Leaf one, where it went from like what, May to June or March to June?
April to June 30th.
April to June.
Earth Day to June 30th.
I love those. If they gave us like 4 trailers a year, but those trailers were like 5-minute long trailer, I'd be happy.
This is bad for business. This is bad for your business and my business. Don't wish for that.
What are you talking about? If everything
4
was
updates and 4 trailers, that's all we get.
Yeah, but
you're killing my career, man.
Zach, we had like 40-second trailers with nothing in them. If they had like 5 to 7 minute long trailers with a ton of like locked events and things like that, so we still had content to make.
Let's touch on our other topic that we want to cover, which is I wish Animal Crossing was getting weekly updates. You wish for bigger updates. I wish for bite-sized updates once a week.
Talk about this. Zach is like methodical when he's on his phone. He's like, looking at different hairstyles he can do. You tweeted out, I wish something along the lines of, I wish Animal Crossing could get weekly updates.
Right.
I liked it because I'm a good friend, and I was like, oh, this is funny and quirky or whatever. But like, how realistic could this be?
Pocket Camp gets it.
But that's monetized.
Yes. So
this
is
a world
$60 monetized. I guarantee the average player of Pocket Camp doesn't spend $60.
In a world, the world that Zach lives in, where he tweets this, what are you expecting for a weekly thing?
I think it's just a smorgasbord. It is a cornucopia. It is a smoothie of whatever it descends that week. So one week it might just be, hey, Earth Day, you get the globe, and the Arbor Day, you get the Forsythia plant. The next week it's like, hey, Bunny Day's coming up. We want to let you know. The next week it's, oh, Brewster's being added. It's a a wild card every week, or maybe it's just, hey, a few new items. But it would be nice to have, like, we know it's Friday, none of this confusion, and every Friday we can, come together as a community and check out what they have for us. Again, like, the idea of having a 30 to 60-second trailer every Friday morning it's pure ecstasy. Like, that would be amazing. First of all, we can make so many cool videos. Second of all, we're streaming every Friday to check out the new content. And third of all, it keeps the game very relevant and fun. And I understand, like, it will not happen. They're not going to do it that way. You're right. Pocket Camp is monetized. Pocket Camp needs to keep players, not deleting the app. But I think for the kind of game ACNH is, it would behoove it. And I would love to see whatever comes next for Animal Crossing adopt a weekly update structure to really treat this game like the daily check-in, play it for a few minutes a day game that it is. And I don't think it would be that hard. I'm not advocating for infinite content. I'm just advocating for a better split of it.
I'm seeing a lot of comments right now, and we got to clap back. But first, Shaylee with the $13.99 says, that's how I took it, that they were saving big editions to release throughout to keep players excited. I can't see them advertising the 3-year plan so heavily if it were just bug fixes. That's true. Yeah, because they wouldn't necessarily announce that with people speculating more. Yeah, I can see that. So there's a lot of talk in the chat about, man, that's a lot of development time. That's a lot of work on the devs. That would be overwhelming as players. The overwhelming part, I can't really rebuttal, but Fortnite updates every single day. And I know that's a very different game and it's all cosmetic, but Animal Crossing Weekly could update. And this is how I think personally I would like it. So the Nook Mile items that have never changed since launch, I'm talking about the lighthouse, things like that. What if they released 10 new items a week? And like they did that for like a 10-week period, or like a 2-month period, and it would rotate, so it would be like 30 new, I don't know. It would just be like 10 new items every week. I don't think that's very overwhelming.
No, I mean, generating the item art assets or whatever, like, someone has to do that, yes, but I mean, you could I'm sure establish a pool of 1,000 items that then you're just selecting 7 from or 10 from a week. That to me is, I'm not saying Animal Crossing changes dramatically every week. I'm saying that they are just picking and pulling, like adding a new crop has to be as simple as swapping out the image. Instead of it being a pumpkin, now it's a turnip or whatever. Or we already have turnips. Now it's a squash. So that I think could be very, very, very. It's totally doable in my opinion.
Or just like different aspects of the game, because like that is a lot of items. Maybe could be like a monthly update, or like 2 times a month or something like that. Leaf has a new flower. Leaf has a new, bush or something like that. I don't necessarily think that an overabundance of items is necessarily a problem at the end of the day. I'm just not buying that, because people are constantly looking for ways to play this game. And I just think like it could update more, but also Nintendo would have to change the business model of this game, I think.
Yeah, the overabundance of items, if that was the case, then why is there custom designs? Because you should be overwhelmed by the
hundreds.
People are hungry for more items, but that's why they're generating their own items and their own designs and their own clothes and their own standees and their own paths. Yeah, when you start going down the rabbit hole of like, why didn't Nintendo do this? Why don't they do that? It does blow my mind, because it feels like they created a game within a box instead of creating a game, as best as they could. And I still love the game, but I want like the PS5 powered Animal Crossing, where there's like a million things to do and there's all the fruits and all the Animal Crossing world.
I think the frustration, I mean, we're talking about this game like it's a paid thing, kind of like Fortnite, but I think the frustration here is, as a Nintendo fan going through the Wii U era of things, we were constantly like when I had my Wii U, I was just constantly looking for that game that would take off and make this system a success. And that never ended up happening.
Right.
The Switch, there's been, you have your Zeldas and Marios and your Pokemon and stuff, but this is a franchise that I always thought was about to take that next leap, and it finally did. And it just kind of seems like it's just slowly fading. I don't know how the next game will play out, but I could possibly see them go to a more paid, like monetized thing. But Ryan said, make these updates count, don't oversaturate, and can we just get the damn Froggy chair? That's it. Ryan for president. And he has a great last name too. Love his last name.
Do you?
So I don't know, man. The game will never do weekly updates, but it's not too out of the question, I think.
It's not. It's not going to happen, so don't worry, but like it would be fun. It would be fun.
Yeah. Guys, in the chat, throw your questions at us. I know we've been getting some, but now we're going to go towards the chat and also the Discord. We have a place for NookTalk questions. Challenge us. Clap back, man. We want those spicy questions. I love them. I'm going to go right now. Zach can snipe out some that he sees. Let's see. Okay. First one we have. Let's see. Offui says, do you think Rover will return for May Day this year? What are your thoughts on the Rover return? You said that he hinted at it.
Right.
To you, what would be the perfect Rover update?
The perfect Rover update, I mean, I won't get too carried away. It's just a different maze, the different reward. I think that would be totally fine. Are they going to remove any holidays or events? Like, is that even an option in your head? Like, can May Day just not happen? Is that a thing?
It'd be weird, but like, I wouldn't be too surprised. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised because it was just it was a really thrown together thing. Like you got the Mayday ticket, you went on this one maze. I thought there was going to be multiple versions of the maze.
Right.
And then you saw Rover at the end, which if you're new to this franchise, you have no idea who that is. Was there some confusion? I'm talking to the chat right now. Was there confusion with this? Like, I bet people did the maze and they were like, wait, is this a villager that I can move in? Like, it was a really weird
But
thing.
it was such a cool idea. Like, I wish they would have expanded further. Special tickets to take you to special islands. Like, that idea is, I think, brilliant. It just never fleshed out.
Yeah. So, I mean, ideally, I agree with you. If there's a new maze and a new reward, that would be enough. I mean, it's whatever. At least Rover's in the game. But, let's see.
I would be sad if they just didn't. Like, if they don't drop an update and they don't mention May Day, it's just gone. Museum Day is just gone. Like, that would feel very, very odd.
I just saw a question and I lost it. It was something about... Oh, right here. Helly says, if they only do bug fixes in the future, how long do you see yourself continuing to play? I love this game. Zach, I've seen you design your island, and I do think that UGC and designing is the future of this game. You've done a very small part of your island, but you've done what, 4 or 5 streams, 2 hours each? That's crazy. Like, the time does add up. I think after a while, the game lives and dies, I think, by updates. There's always going to be a design community. There's always going to be the Tumblr, the Instagram community, but like that can only go on for so long. And I do think that Animal Crossing has a bright future and a very the future is not as far away as you probably think.
The hard part, and like I agree with you, and I'll also attach on this addendum, which is that the hard part is that whereas a live game like Fortnite requires its player base to be engaged for it to be viable, meaning I'm not going to have fun with Fortnite if there's only 32 people in the match, 44 players in the match. So they need to update on a regular basis to ensure that the player base stays there. Animal Crossing New Horizons, for better and for worse, does not require a player base to be an effective purchase. So that is where it really just comes down to how Nintendo views it. Do they view it as this is their foray into live service gaming and regular updates? To me, I think it's important to point out that outside of our niche, hardcore, awesome communities, this game is a fun time for most people with or without more updates. And that I guess that's pessimistic, but I think it needs to be said just to be very like thorough on this.
I mean, if they do updates if they do a massive terraforming update, a massive crafting update, just things to kind of cement this game for people playing this years and years down the line, I think the game will continue to live on. Like New Leaf was like a cockroach, Zach. It wouldn't go away. Like the only thing that killed New Leaf was this game. So it's like people are willing to play this game for a very long time. I don't think it's going to go away, but it's just interesting.
Yeah.
We got a different kind of question over in Discord. Andrew, thank you for always submitting questions. Says, have you guys played? It's a two-parter.
Okay.
Have you guys played Pac-Man 99? And is N64 coming to Nintendo Online?
No, yes.
No, yes. I played Pac-Man 99. Absolutely love it. Cannot win, Zach. I don't know why.
What's the highest you've gotten?
Second. I've got second.
Oh, that's great. That's really
multiple
good.
times. But I feel like a chump, man. Like Pac-Man is. I should be able to win this.
You're in the top 2%. That's pretty dang great. I'm proud of you.
Top 20 is pretty much a given, but I can't win. I can't freaking win. N64 coming in Nintendo Online. I'm gonna say no, just because they've been doing this thing where they're like remastering N64 games. I think that's probably the more profitable thing to do, like Turok and things like that. But it'd be cool. I would like it. Let's see.
I think the only way we don't get N64 is if we get a mini N64, whatever those things are called, classic. You know, like the mini SNES.
Oh yeah.
I think we get one of the two.
I'm surprised that hasn't come out yet.
It's because there's not a lot of games that don't require like licensing. Like Nintendo didn't have as big of a first party, but the entire I don't know, this might be common knowledge, but the entire N64 library can like fit in a photo. Like it's not that many games. Those cartridges were very expensive. There wasn't a lot developed, so I think just like you can put out Mario 64 and Donkey Kong 64 and Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Pokemon Stadium, but like outside of that, it's like a lot of the big heavy hitters like GoldenEye, Banjo-Kazooie, a lot of those games, Jet Force Gemini.
It's all rare. It's all rare.
All other studios. Yeah.
Yeah. So they like Conkers they couldn't even do.
Right.
And honestly, and this is coming from a big N64 fan, there's probably about 40 games that are worth playing on the whole system. It's really
Mario Party 1. You got to spin the Shy Guy.
Oh, God.
Many hand calluses back when I was in 3rd grade.
Mario Party 2 has to be in the top 50 games of all time. It's just that good.
It's just very fun. Those costumes. That's why you love it. It's
love the costume.
Halloween game, basically. Yeah.
The mini games are great. My favorite Mario Party is 4, but 2 is pretty good. Space Cadet says, what is your favorite update so far? Zach, we go back all the updates that have ever come out.
Leaf and Red 1.3 or 1.2. Sorry.
Yeah, I have to agree because you added new plants, new collectibles with the art. Like, yeah.
And the quest of getting Red, even though it was simple, was still like that was in the era where like you were working towards getting Cake on your island. You were working towards getting the full Nook's Cranny. Working towards getting Red. He shows up. You have to get him to come there. Like that was fun.
And wait, was that was the Dream too, right? That was in the same update?
Dream Updates? No, Dream Updates was summer. Dream Updates was wave 2 of the summer. Luna was
okay.
But I mean, had Leaf, it had Red, and then it laid forth May Day, Museum Day, Wedding Season, Earth Day, all that stuff.
I think that was the most substantial update. My favorite event, hands down, was Halloween. And if you noticed, like when I used to do tours on my channel, like everyone decorated for Halloween. It wasn't just like a few people. Everyone had pumpkins, and so I think that's a close one too. Troy with the 5 says, off-topic question: if they add another Animal Crossing character to Smash Bros, who should it be?
It's obviously Brewster.
You going Brewster? The guy that's not in the newest game?
The Dodo brothers would be a fantastic like Ice Climber style like combo character.
I think Truffles should be added because I would love to just beat the crap. Okay, next.
Can't you see like in Animal Crossing when they get like smashed and their face like freezes for a second and then they get hit or hit the screen? Can't you just see like the dodos, their big dumb faces being like wah and making like a crazy expression?
Honestly though, Tom Nook, he's so chill and like out of it half the time. He would be hilarious, but I don't think they're ever gonna add another one. To be completely honest,
Not this time around. My hope is. Mario Kart 9, whenever that releases, takes note of Animal Crossing's popularity, and we do get, Isabelle, Nook, and, maybe somebody else as a racer. That would be really fun. But based on the Build-A-Bear release, it's going to be Isabelle, Nook, and KK, for forever.
KMO84 with the long thought out question. Here we go, Zach.
Okay.
What impact do you think sites like Nookazon had on the continued playability for people going into the second year of playing the game? I ask because I remember from previous games that the chances of players completing a whole set of holiday or event items were more rare. Now players are able to buy what they want instead of waiting. I wonder if quarantine of 2020 was a curse in disguise because the players that had the time to burn out and finding all the DIYs or getting all of the event items are the same players that are burnt out and wanting new stuff. Personally, if Nintendo can give us Brewster and Katrina and new items every season/event this second year, I would be so happy. I don't expect them to completely change up the game or events, knowing they designed this game to be a slow burn, casual type of gameplay. Just my opinion. I personally think that Nookazon single-handedly is going to keep this game alive when it's all said and done. Just think of how easy it is to get a villager in boxes or an item. Like, if any of you guys want an item, you can just go into any of our Discords. People are playing all the time. I think Nookazon is going to turn into the hardcore players, and you're going to have to use Nookazon to get anything.
What do you mean have to use? How would you have to use it?
Because I think a lot of creators are probably going to stop covering Animal Crossing, and people are going to stop in large part. And now you could probably go to your friend's island and get a flower or whatever. But I think in the future, when the player base goes down and there's only hardcore people left, I think you're going to have to use a resource like Nookazon to get anything.
So you're talking about getting things that are alternate colorways or things that are only accessible from other islands. Okay.
At least that's what I think. Or find it yourself, but I mean,
I don't know how much of an impact it had. I mean,
it's so tough.
It's just because Nintendo was making adjustments to item duplication, glitch, and stuff before Nookazon had gained any traction. So I think their in-game economy or whatever you want to call it, I'm not sure Nookazon has impacted the game in any way, but the player base absolutely, what you're saying, I think has some truth to it.
Yeah. People are saying Facebook groups and things like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, the same thing could be said about a game like Pokemon Go. So it's when Pokemon Go first came out, you could ask your friends, you could go on these groups and things like that. Right. And now there's still a giant Pokemon Go community, but you have to really dig and find people. Titan Heroes.
Literally, they're all underground.
They're all underground. Titan Hero Studio says, do you think they will update? Do you think they will update Nook Link? If so, what items will they add? We have to talk about Nook Link. We have to talk about this. What's going to happen with this? They have to.
They have to. Maybe it's per update. Maybe they'll just drop them per update or something. Is that what they're banking on?
I mean, I thought the item... I haven't even logged on today. I never do it. I never get my coins. It's just... The items to me aren't... There's nothing... when you're a little kid and you go to the arcade and you're like, oh my God, I want that freaking balloon, or I don't know what prizes are.
A balloon?
That balloon, man. Okay. No, I want the Nintendo Wii that costs 40,000 tickets. There's no item like that in here. Yeah. And I wish there was.
Yeah.
But
and it's just the offering's so limited, and the fact that you can still get them seems wow. Why are we collecting the points? Why?
Yeah, there's no big ticket item. Okay. Let's see. Emily, you can only pick one. Oh, I'm just gonna get Brewster out of this then. Emily said, who would you rather see in the game? Tortimer, Cap'n, or Katrina? There was a Brewster option, but I was
gonna say Brewster. Cap'n? That's the right answer, right?
It's your opinion.
I think that's the right answer. In terms of what they bring to the game, in theory, right?
So basically, multiplayer, Cap'n, which could bring you to a new island, or a regular NPC. I mean, Cap'n might be a regular NPC too. That's a tough one. I'm going to go with Katrina. Never did any. Aesthetically, she's cool, but like she never really did anything. I would say Tortimer. It's close though. I would say Cap'n second. But Cap'n's cute. Yeah, Cap'n has all those songs.
What kind of animal is he? A duck?
Next question. Let's see. Sophie, what NPC character do you think are the most and least likely to return?
Oh, what kind of animal is he?
Cap'n the Duck, everyone. Cap'n the Duck.
What is he?
What kind of animal is Cap'n? Wrong answers only, okay? Wrong answers only in the chat. Most likely to return. Brewster has to be at the top.
Yeah.
I think Cap'n the Duck has to be up there.
I've created this own alternate universe for myself where I know Franklin is the Thanksgiving turkey day, but in my head I'm like Chuckles, and it gets so confusing. Like I'll say it in the video, I'll be like, if they bring back Chuckles, I'm like, oh, no one knows about this except myself.
And another one that no one really mentions, and I'm like, he was like a main character, is Digby.
Yeah, where's
like Digby needs to come back. I think he's probably a lock, but
can we just have Animal Crossing like mystery tour where all of a sudden you wake up and Digby's in resident services instead of Isabel, and he's like, oh, she had to go handle something. Like you don't know where she went, and then you find Isabel, like washed up on shore, and it's like this big mystery.
I think the game, the way that they do NPCs, besides, well, even the Plaza ones, the game just kind of feels dead a little bit. The campers stay in the tent. Like KK is in his plaza. Like Tom Nook and Isabel, they're in a building. So like your island, it's a lot of times, like to me anyway, feels empty. I wish they would just walk around, or like
you want to be bumping into people. You want to not be able to get past anybody over and over again.
Yeah, I want rush hour on my island. There's none of that. I mean, there's 10 villagers that live on your island, but half of them are in their houses. I don't know. This is a good one. But that's why during events like Halloween and fishing tournaments, it feels more alive. Everything's out there. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm says, do you think, here's a good one. Zach could probably answer this. Do you think Nintendo was planning to have Brewster in a smaller role, but then when they saw the huge amount of fan outbreak for him, Nintendo decided to up his role, and that's why he's taking so long?
Probably not. Only because why would Brewster have a reduced role? I mean, I guess potentially, but Brewster had a substantial role last time. I would imagine his place in the game would be similar. I also don't know how much Nintendo listens to fans. Like, for example, the design slots. I was thinking about those in my video, Pat. I don't know if you made it to this part in my long-winded 20-minute diatribe, but I don't know that the design slots are a response to fans or quality of life in truth.
So you think they just added it randomly?
I think it's tied to what you always bring up from Doug Bowser of UGC and an additive part of the game, not a correction. Like that's the distinction I would make. And what I talked about in my video was like, I don't know that Nintendo makes any corrective quality of life updates. Additive, maybe, more of something, but I don't, both of us, myself, I fully was on the same train. Like, oh my God, they're listening, they're adding what we wanted, they're changing what we said to be changed. But when I really thought about it, when I was kind of going through the details of 1.9, I was like, this really isn't a change. It's really just an additive for UGC.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because you look back at when they upgraded our storage, and a lot of people were like, man, they're listening. But at the same time, the Christmas event came out and we got like 15 new items or something like that. Yeah. So that could have been a factor to that. And then with the recent design slots, we had 4 new things to customize. So there seems to be things that like coincide with the quality of life things. I mean, they have to be some percentage game, like playing the game themselves and being like,
sure.
This could...
Yes, correct. I just wonder what game gets corrective changes that's not, because like there's nothing to balance here. This isn't like, oh, the MP5 needs to be nerfed. It's not like, oh, people said Mario was too slow and so they sped him up in Odyssey. It's not like they said the climbing meter was too small in Breath of the Wild. So I just don't know.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Ashley
says about the hairstyles. That had to be straight up.
Yeah. So okay. So then maybe we can come agree on they are listening, but in additive ways, not in like changes.
Yeah.
Because now my take is we don't ever get batch crafting, and we don't ever get batch buying, and we don't ever get any of these things that would simplify systems that are already in place.
Mm-hmm. The hairstyles is a good point. They were definitely listening, but I think also, that could have turned into a bigger problem for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of ignorant that they didn't,
have them in the beginning.
It was. I think they streamlined that. And they were like, we need to do this. So I'm glad that got added. Because this game doesn't make any money from the point where you're buying this until now. I don't think fan feedback is necessarily at the top of their list. I think that they want to add things in so the end of the game's lifestyle, you have everything that you need to play for a while. But I don't know.
Well, and that's where you always talk about you want or think that they should do paid DLC, and that's where like the Amiibo card thing makes a lot of sense to me, because that would effectively be a way to monetize this game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the reason why I preach so much about paid DLC, and I think there's a decent amount of people that are willing to spend more money in this game, is that paid means substantial. And like, I think a paid DLC, if they add something crazy, is going to get a lot of attention, and then people are going to be flooding back. Even though it's a paid thing, the game is updating. Just like this 2.0, 1.10 debate, I think 2.0 does the same thing. Mm-hmm. If I'm playing a game, it could be even something as small as like Overwatch or Smite or something like that, and like it gets a giant update, I'm at least watching the trailer and
taking a peek. Yeah.
Okay. Noted. Okay. Amelia asked a good question. What non-Nintendo games coming out in 2021 are you the most excited for?
Ooh, I want to know your answer to this, man.
Man, I've been thinking about this for a very long time, and Pokemon Snap, Zach, has to...
That's not Nintendo, but I mean, okay.
Oh, wait. Oh, non-Nintendo.
But yeah, so you're pumped for Pokemon Snap.
Just for the record, Pokemon Snap is everything in life. Okay. I want it now. Mario Golf. Okay, those are the non-Nintendo one. Or those are the Nintendo one. Non-Nintendo, what the heck is coming out? What's coming out?
You have my debacle of May, which is, do I be traumatized by Resident Evil 8 because it's going to be one of the best games of the year, or do I sit it out because it scares the crap out of me? That game freaks me out. So there's that. Halo Infinite will be you seem like a Halo kind of player. I feel like you would be a Halo guy.
I like Halo.
Okay.
I like Nintendo for me is the only company that can make me like glued to the TV. If there was like a Microsoft or like a Sony presentation, I'll watch a highlight video or something. Man, well, a game that came out recently that I was really pumped for was The Show. But that's a boring answer. I mean, I've been playing it on Xbox. It's kind of weird to see like a Sony studio, but that was a hyped one. I don't know.
I got Resident Evil Village. I'm excited for Returnal next week, and I'm excited for Horizon Forbidden West. The sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn is supposed to still be out this year. If Starfield makes it out from Bethesda with their new Xbox partnership, that would be massive. I'm excited for Halo Infinite. I think Ratchet isn't amazing, but it'll be fun on PlayStation 5. It's another interesting year because so much has been delayed. Like, one of my most anticipated games was Gotham Knights, the new Batman game from Warner Brothers, delayed out of the year. Deathloop seems pretty good from Arcane in Bethesda. That's on PS5. It got delayed from May to September. So there's a lot. Hollow Knight 2 or Hollow Knight Silksong. Yeah, that should be out.
Yep. Hollow Knight. Sports Story is a little indie that, but I was excited for Stories, but that's already out. So like a lot of my games, and then the games that I am excited for, like my number one game I'm excited for is the Elder Scrolls, like the next big Elder Scrolls.
But that 2024,
yeah, who knows when that's going to come out? But man, I know this isn't really Amelia's question, but Nintendo, I think this E3 for me anyway, you're going to see all the projects that they wanted to release this year or last year. Like, to me, this is a very exciting one. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 40 minutes long. Like,
I hope so. I think Nintendo seems to be the only company that has found a way to manage the pandemic and still have regular releases. And like whether the year is slow for you based on your genre preferences or not, like they still put out new Pokemon Snap. They still put out Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. They still put out Bravely Default 2 and Monster Hunter Rise is exclusive to the system. And like Mario Golf is coming, and like they're still finding a way to make this happen on a regular basis, which is pretty darn great.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's interesting. Usually when new consoles come out, there's like all these games that you're looking forward to. It just seemed like a very weak launch. And like, I don't know, the Xbox One and PS4, to me, those were weak launches too. So man, at least Nintendo gives us a friggin' Zelda game to look forward to.
Well, and this year's just very odd. Pandemic and cross-gen and the new weird obsession with like, oh, people don't want to upgrade. They shouldn't have to upgrade. It's just a very strange year. It's a strange year all around. And I don't expect it to get much better for the other two, but I expect Nintendo to come through clutch. I really think that they are going to have a big E3 and a big second half. So,
yeah. But, man, not a lot of non-Nintendo games. I know that was a very long answer, but Nintendo has the sauce right now. Well, they should.
They have the spice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Axel says, do you think they will ever make a Pokemon crossover like they've done with Mario items? I think Animal Crossing, I don't know about you, but I think Animal Crossing is probably the perfect game to combine with any new release coming out. Like Pokemon Snap, we have the Instax thing. That's not really like a in-game thing. But like, man, like Zelda comes out, release the Zelda villagers that were in there. I don't know. What do you think?
I'd love to see it. I think it'd be fantastic. It'd be super cute. Zelda to me seems much more likely. Pokemon Company and Nintendo still are separate entities, so like I think there's a lot more hoops to jump through there. Whereas like Zelda, Nintendo just throws them in. You know, they can throw Ganon and stuff like that in there, and Splatoon they can just throw Inkwell in there. So to me, I feel like of the ones we've thrown out there, I feel like Pokemon's the least likely, but it would be awesome. I mean, I love crossovers in all games. It would be, the styles match up. Like Let's Go, be pretty good.
Yeah. Tangy Plays says, what is your favorite game besides Animal Crossing that is from Nintendo?
Currently or ever?
Mm-hmm.
Currently.
Like maybe franchise or game?
Or? Franchise. Sure, franchise.
What is it? I really like Splatoon. I'm very excited what they could do with
Kart.
Splatoon 3. Yeah, Mario Kart. Mario Kart, yeah, is undefeated. So long, sir. Man, I kind of want to say something about the whole clickbaiting thing.
Sure, let's talk about it.
I've been seeing it come up. I mean, so the title of this stream today, The Wait Begins for the 1.10 ACNH update. That, to me, that's not clickbaiting. I don't think it's clickbaiting. I think like we are waiting for the update. It could be 1.10, it could be 2.0. I don't see a clickbait there. Like,
it's very hard.
What's your take? Because you've been doing this a long time.
It's very hard, and it's so individually specific because there are Fortnite YouTubers with 10 million subscribers that put the Incredible freaking Hulk in the thumbnail, and he's not in the game, and no one cares. But then if you or I say the wait for 1.10, or if I say, did Nintendo just announce this big thing or whatever, it's like, oh my gosh, you tricked us, which I understand. No one wants to be tricked. I think the important, like, here's what I'll say. Clickbait is, first of all, it's inevitable. It's the welcome to media. Like, it's the how else are you going to get people to click on your video? Where it crosses a line is if it's intentionally trying to trick. I don't intentionally try to trick, and I would guess the same thing is for you. Like, it's hard to know how every human out there is going to react and respond to a title, how they're going to take it to mean, what they're going to be. Now, if we said Nintendo released the 2.0 update, come discuss, well, then that's a flat out lie. The issue is, you and I know we're talking about the wait of, like, we're waiting for the update. Now, I've seen people in the chat say they think we're talking about the wait as in, like, oh, it's happening in 6 hours, so we're streaming until that update drops. So, as long as you're, I don't know, and it's just so hard. You're never going to please anybody. I deal with this on Switch 4 so much more than Ghost Robo. And, like, that's the thing as well. The bigger you are, I feel, the less problem you have. As soon as you have 1 million subs, like, I feel like you can title your videos whatever you want. And I'm not saying I intentionally clickbaited, but I didn't ever have issues with that back then. Whereas now I have this thing of like, oh, what was the order of the verbs and what adjective did you use? Was that an accurate adjective? And it's like, it's hard because you don't want to upset people. You don't want them to feel let down. And at the same time, I'm never titling a video trying to be like, haha, how can I squeeze 5 more views out of this? Like, that's never the intent.
I think the major thing here is like, it's a form, like when you're reading like a magazine title or something, there needs to have something catch you right now. And like, I just want to say, full transparency, like everyone here knows that there's not an update. If there was an update and it was a giant like Brewster update, you would have heard about it. You would have seen it on Twitter. Of course, we're speculating. Like if something comes out, you'll know. Like I don't think like I don't break the news that there's an update. You know what I'm saying? Like Nintendo posts it everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just think, and Wolf Knight says it good. There's always a little catch or clickbait in any video you see. Like, us making a good, attractive thumbnail is technically clickbait because we're trying to make it look appealing and intriguing and put characters you like or put our face on it that we hope you like or, whatever. So by definition, everything is clickbait. We're trying to bait you into watching our video because you don't have to. You could go do whatever else you wanted to do with your day. It's just the intent and the severity. And I think what's also important is like, when there's an event like an update or a direct, and I notice this on Switchforce a lot, you're getting so many more people from outside your subscriber base. Our subscribers, I think, know when there's an update, how we title things, how we thumbnail things, what it's gonna look like. But if it's a viewer coming from outside, they think that it's maybe not. Maybe they're not accustomed to it. Maybe they think you're talking about a different weight. Mm-hmm. You can't please everybody. The best is
like. Yeah. When I'm really into something, like I'm super into something, I want to consume every bit of content. And I think you look at my channel, like the update videos have done well. Like that's all people want to talk about and speculate about. It's fun. Like we love to do it. So, I mean, you got to make your stuff look good. I could have titled this, "There's no update, guys, but let's talk." Like that wouldn't have.
And the hard thing is like, I know, I know people are just doing, they're just clicking on it and hoping, but it's like you said, like Pat, I love you, but you're not getting the exclusive on the next Animal Crossing update. You're not breaking the story on the Animal Crossing update, which it's hard to convey that because it seems simple to us. Like, well, duh, no one's talked about, no tweet, no nothing. How would we possibly have it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you do the best you can.
Dude, Fortnite's really bad.
Fortnite is horrible. So Minecraft is horrible. So Roblox is horrible. But they don't get bashed because they're usually kids as the audience.
I forgot I forgot the name of this. I wouldn't even drop the name anyway. But it's like this guy that every time there's a new Fortnite update, he like clickbaits the picture and he has like a countdown on his it's a live stream. Mm-hmm. He has a countdown on his live stream. And when the countdown goes to 0, he resets it. And like it's just it's bad. I mean, I think as a creator, I'm interested in this topic. I know it's not Animal Crossing, we should probably end it, but like I think it's interesting. Because like you title things wrong or you have a bad thumbnail, your views are like crazy bad. But
well, I mean, have you ever subscribed to Sports Illustrated, the biggest thing the NBA's seen since Kobe Bryant? Have you ever read a newspaper or ever bought is Return of the Game to cement PlayStation 5 as the I don't know. And the other thing that I'd like to just point out is like, I don't know. I can't put myself in the position of clicking on a video and like being miserable. Like, oh my God. Like if it wasn't an update, I mean, feel free to click off the video. That's your prerogative, but like we're not, I don't think we're offending you, or I don't think we're attacking you, or I mean, we're making free content. And when you've made 10,000 videos like I have, like how many ways can I title? I don't know. Like I'm trying my best. Like I'm putting out 2 videos a day. It's just,
I think it's interesting. But man, if I had to predict, let's get back to some AC news. I think, man, I look at the 27th. That looks like a good day. They're gonna put a lot of emphasis on Pokemon Snap launching. That's their next major game. It's the Pokemon Company. They're already coming out with things like the Instax, which I don't think made it to the US Nintendo. Like I don't think Nintendo of America put out a trailer.
I don't think so.
So that was kind of a weird. So like, be prepared to see a lot of Pokemon Snap stuff, even from our channels. We're going to be covering it, but I would think that they would want to get it over with in the beginning of the week. I'm talking Monday or Tuesday, and then next month have, start the update. But I don't know about you. In terms of date, are you 27?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's my thought.
I'm super excited. I just want to say, man, Pokemon fan, little boy Pat playing Snap. I always loved Snap. It was like that weird spin-off game that I loved because like the Pokemon world seems real. You're seeing Pokemon like interact with each other. I always thought it was such a fun concept. So
best looking Pokemon game we've ever seen. New Pokemon.
Oh, Snap. Dude, hands down. And like, I'm trying to avoid trailers, but I also want to click on them. But I just wish they baited the titles a little bit more. No, stop. Okay, anyway, I love you guys so much. That was episode 36.
Woo-woo.
So in terms of episode 37, we're probably not going to come out with another episode until something is announced. If nothing is announced within the next couple weeks, we'll probably do, something in a couple weeks. But fingers crossed, guys.
Check us out for Pokemon. Maybe me and Pat will do some sort of combo video on Pokemon Snap. We'll both be playing that next week. I got a Safari hat coming from Amazon, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Super good. Thank you guys for joining. Hearts on the way out. Thank you, Zach, for another great episode.
Thank you, people.
And we will see you soon. Oh my God. Alley Cat, thank you. I love you. And Aunt Bacon, I love you so much. Thank you guys. We'll see you soon.